A little over a year ago, I was lucky enough to move to a new house with a pretty large unused basement area, about 22 by 23 feet. So, of course, I decided to build a railroad. I started off with a pretty good set of criteria or design goals. I wanted to maximize the square footage of the room, but I still wanted to be able to access all of it. I wanted my main line to be 100% 72-inch radius so I could run long trains, long engines. I want a single track main line to keep a higher scenery to track ratio. A lot of people like layouts like this, and I built one like this before, where you basically put down as much track as you can and get as many trains going as you can. Those are a lot of fun, but this time I really wanted to have a layout that highlighted one train and made that train look as good as possible. However, I'm definitely no fine scale modeler. Had no intention of doing the kind of detail that you see on the really gorgeous layouts. I just wanted enough scenery to make my trains look good. I wanted to make sure to paint the backdrop before construction. It's too hard to do them later. Install good lighting. And I wanted my trains to have a purpose. I wanted them to go from one city to another city. So there's a reason for having a train. And then I wanted to travel in between the cities to be interesting, and then hide part of the return trip under a mountain to suggest that the train goes far away and then comes back. Since I'm running lots of old trains, I want to use simple block control, no DCC. Now, each of my control blocks can be switched between either of two transformers, so two operators can run two trains at the same time on the single main line without DCC. After I got the main line done, I figured out I could still add 3 long sidings. That way I can have 4 trains on the layout and run any one of the 4 conveniently without shuffling cars off a rack. And I had to make a Santa village for the young visitors. So I used the Scram software, and the green blocks are 4x8 sheets of plywood, and the blue sheet are 4x8s cut in half, so they're 2x8. And I laid out the general idea and the general idea of the track that would give me the maximum usage. There are 2 spots I can't reach, but I put cutouts so I can get to those. So this is what the platform looked like. The plywood I used was too thin, made it much cheaper and much easier to install, but it did want to warp, so I wound up having to brace it quite a bit to deal with the warpage. So here's my first city. So this is why this train exists. It takes people and freight from this city. And then on the other end of the layout is the second city, which is the destination. Now, on the way from the first city, we go through an industrial area. And then we go through a farming area. And then more industry. And then some warehousing companies. And then we come to Santa's village with Santa there in the background. And then we go by not a vineyard, a orchard, and some sort of a petroleum or oil-based business. And then we arrive at the second city. So here's my control panel with 6 blocks. Someday I'll paint it and make it look a little nicer, but these are all double pull, double throw, so I can run either block, any block, through either of these controllers. And I have these lights, and eventually I'm going to wire these into the double pull, double throws, so you can tell which transformer is powering which block by the color of the light. Haven't gotten to that yet. So I'm pretty happy the way it turned out. It's not beautiful, but it really meets my needs.